Fire up the iron horse, boys.
Hey, Blondie.
Name's Jedediah.
All right, Jedediah, stop the train, please.
It's a big no-can-do, Cracker Jack.
What's going on here, huh?
Somebody's gotta pay.
Pay for what?
I don't know, just pay! Now stop whining and just take it like a man.
Seriously, stop the train.
All right, stop the train.
Thank you.
Now full speed ahead and ram him! Split his head like a watermelon!
Hey everyone, I'm Izzy, and this movie is so much fun. I remember seeing it in the theater, and clearly, I didn't give it enough love. And well, that ends today, because I recently rewatched it and was impressed by how entertaining it is all the way through. And it's absolutely packed with advanced expressions that natives use all the time. And today I'm going to help you understand these expressions and the fast speech you hear in this movie without getting lost, without missing your jokes, and without subtitles. And if this sounds like something you want to be able to do with other fun movies and series you like, hit the subscribe button and the bell down below so you don't miss any of our new lessons.
Is that like a watermelon? Oh, ow! For crying out loud.
All right, that's enough.
Climb aboard, boy. Take the hand, son. One more.
That's right, you better run, boy! That mustachioed horseman ain't always gonna be there to protect you, you hear me?
Thank you.
Not at all. Theodore Roosevelt, 26th President of these United States of America, at your service.
Okay, I'm Larry Daly, the new night guard.
Ha ha! Pleasure to meet you, Lawrence Daly. You'll have to excuse me, though. The hunt is afoot.
Hunt's foot. Okay, excuse me, Mr. President. Can I ask you something?
Yes, but just one question.
All right. Okay, why? Is it like just some, like, 3 wishes kind of deal? Or?
Jumbo!
Oh,
Not at all. Self-reliance is the key to a vigorous life. A man must look inward to find his own answers. How can I be of help?
all right, well, I don't really know how to put this, and please don't take it the wrong way, but isn't everything in this museum supposed to be, you know, dead? Yeah.
Follow me.
Now before we get started, I should tell you that we're saving all the advanced words and expressions you learned today on our own app so you can practice them over there. It's a much more powerful way to experience these lessons because on there we help you remember everything you're learning forever so you can actually build your fluency. Just click the link in the description below to unlock this lesson with a night at the museum completely free on the RealLife app, and I'll see you there. Now this scene is hilarious, but what's going on here? Well, if you haven't watched Night at the Museum, here's the premise. At night, the exhibits in this museum come to life.
Everything in this museum comes to life at night.
And here we see Larry, the protagonist, getting into all sorts of trouble when he finds out about it, while working his first night as a security guard. So in the scene we saw earlier, a miniature cowboy named Jedediah had tied Larry to a railway track and was threatening him with a toy train. The expression "to fire up" means to turn on or to activate a machine with an engine, like a car or a train. But it can also be used more informally with objects like a computer, as you can hear in this scene from the TV series Suits.
Okay, hotshot. Fire up this laptop.
Now when Jedediah said, "Fire up the iron horse, boys," he was referring to the train, the steam locomotive, which is also called Iron Horse in these historical contexts.
Hey, Blondie.
Name's Jedediah.
All right, Jedediah, stop the train, please.
It's a big no-can-do, Cracker Jack.
Cracker Jack, just like Iron Horse, is an expression that you'll also hear in Western films, for example, those ones with the cowboys. It means buddy or fellow here. And finally, Jedediah's order to ram him sounds pretty aggressive. It means to strike with force, maybe even violently. Just like the animal that's also called ram does. Have you ever seen that?
Climb aboard, boy. Take the hand, son.
The phrase to climb aboard refers to getting onto a vehicle like a train, bus, or even a horse. Check it out in this example.
Climb aboard the Dunphy Express. Next stop, democracy. Please don't go. I won't do that anymore, I promise.
Thank you.
Not at all.
Not at all serves as a polite response when somebody thanks you. Natives usually cut, link, and morph words when they speak, and in this lesson we'll see some examples of this feature of English that we call connected speech. The phrase not at all is a good one for practicing it. Basically what's happening here is that there are two T sounds and both stand between vowels, so they turn into a R sound. Not at all. Now you try to repeat.
Not at all. Not at all. Theodore Roosevelt, 26th President of these United States of America, at your service.
At your service. This is a formal way of saying, I'm here to help you, to serve you. It's kind of old-fashioned, but it does sound respectful. Now, did you catch the connected speech here again?
At your service.
The letter T is followed by the letter Y, and together they morph and create this new ch sound. At your.
At your service. At your service.
Hey, let me stop you right here and ask you something. What do you do to remember all the new words you learn with our lessons? Like the ones we've been seeing, for example, to fire up, or climb aboard, or at your service. And this is just with the beginning of the clip. We're gonna see many more today. Will you be able to remember and use all of these when you need them? Well, I'm saying this because I know it's quite frustrating when you get into a conversation in English, and right when you need to use a certain expression that you've learned before, it doesn't come to you. I know how this feels because I've been there myself. Your brain goes blank, and it totally sucks because it ruins the flow of your speech, right? Well, that is exactly why we created the RealLife English app to help you become a confident, natural English speaker by practicing with these lessons the way they were meant to be. On the app, every lesson like this one with movies, TV series, and podcasts, it comes with a full transcript and flashcards of the most advanced expressions. And by practicing just 10 minutes a day, you'll be able to remember everything you're learning forever. Now this happens because of the spaced repetition technology we developed, which lets you review words just when you're about to forget them. Can you imagine being able to use all of this vocabulary when you speak? This is what you can get with the RealLife app, and you can unlock this lesson with Night at the Museum completely free, which comes with all these great resources by clicking the link in the description below. Or you can search for RealLife English on Google Play or the App Store, but the link in the description below will take you straight to the lesson. So I'll see you there.
Okay, I'm Larry Daly, the new night guard.
Well, this movie has so many cultural and historical references. I mean, it is set in the American Museum of Natural History, a real museum in New York City that actually has all these different exhibits covering the history of the United States and the world. I don't know if you know anything about this famous figure, Theodore Roosevelt, but as it says, he was the president of the United States back in the early 1900s. There are countless other historical references in the movie, and it'd be impossible for me to cover everything in this lesson. So if anything catches your attention, I highly recommend you take note and look it up on Wikipedia later. I always do that myself to learn more about culture, and I gotta say, it's one of the most fundamental habits that I developed to become fluent in English like I am today.
Pleasure to meet you, Lawrence Daly. You'll have to excuse me, though. The hunt is afoot.
The hunt is afoot. Well, afoot means something's happening or is in progress, but it can also simply mean on foot, that is, not by horse or by car. It's old school English, but it still pops up, especially in dramatic or playful ways. Check out this example of the expression when it means something is in progress.
Everyone, there's something you need to see in the barn. The game is afoot.
Excuse me, Mr. President. Can I ask you something?
Yes, but just one question.
All right. Okay, why? Is it like just some, like, 3 wishes kind of deal?
When Larry hears that he can only ask one question, he jokingly asks if there's a magical rule or logic to what's happening. Like in the story of Aladdin, where he only got 3 wishes from Genie. So this is the kind of thing that he's referring to, or as he says, the kinda deal. And again, we hear some connected speech here. Check it out.
All right. Okay, why? Is it like just some, like, 3 wishes kind of deal?
Kind of deal becomes kinda deal. It's just a word of that gets reduced. Kinda deal.
Like just some, like, 3 wishes kind of deal? Kind of deal?
Not at all. Self-reliance is the key to a vigorous life.
When you depend on yourself rather than others, that's an example of self-reliance. So Roosevelt's saying, don't rely on others, figure things out yourself.
All right, you are about to get an important lesson on self-reliance, young lady.
I know he's serious when he calls me young lady.
My dad did the same thing.
He then adds, a man must look inward. This means to reflect on yourself, your feelings, thoughts, or strengths to find answers and solutions.
Not at all. Self-reliance is the key to a vigorous life. A man must look inward to find his own answers.
And doing that will ensure him a vigorous life, according to Roosevelt. Vigorous means full of energy, strength, and enthusiasm.
How can I be of help?
The question, how can I be of help, sounds quite formal to me. It's like a more polite version of how can I help, but more in the direction of how can I be useful. This emphasis on the noun help makes it sound like what kind of help do you need, instead of simply what can I do for you. A similar phrase is to be of interest. For example, the presentation may be of interest to business owners.
All right, well, I don't really know how to put this, and please don't take it the wrong way.
When you're trying to figure out how to explain something, you're trying to find a way to put it, or to put this in the right words. Larry's trying to find an appropriate or respectful way to explain that something strange is happening in a museum, and he doesn't quite know how to put it, how to say it right.
Do you know who I am?
No, I can't say that I do.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Really?
People know me.
But isn't everything in this museum supposed to be,
Dead?
Alright, now let's watch the second part of this scene and understand why this whole thing happens every night at this museum.
You're the only one, Pharaoh. You've been in there 54 years. You're not getting out tonight. There's the source of all this commotion. The tablet of Akhmen-Ra. Arrived here in 1952 from the Nile expedition. On that night, everything in this museum came to life. And every night since.
So everything in the museum comes to life every night?
Exactly.
And I'm supposed to do what?
You're the night watchman, Lawrence. A venerable position in this institution.
Ah!
Come on, lad.
All right, okay, this is impossible.
Nothing's impossible. If it can be dreamed, it can be done. Hence the 20-foot jackal staring at you right now. Don't make eye contact. Your job is to make sure that everyone stays inside the museum. Because if the sun rises and anyone's on the outside, we turn to dust.
You turn to dust.
Dust.
Really?
Really. Now it's almost dawn. I shall help you restore order tonight. But mark my words, it's the last time I shall ever do so. Is that clear?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I guess.
Stop babbling, boy! Yes or no?
Yes!
Good! Let's ride.
The noises we hear are coming from the tomb of the Egyptian Pharaoh, who's been locked there for 54 years. Now pay attention to the pronunciation of this word. It's Pharaoh.
You're the only one, Pharaoh. You've been in there 54 years. You're not getting out tonight. There's the source of all this commotion. The tablet of Akhmen-Ra. Arrived here in 1952 from the Nile expedition.
So here we learned that years ago there was an expedition, that is, an organized journey to explore or research an area. In this expedition, they went to the Nile River in Egypt, where they discovered this tablet with ancient hieroglyphs.
On that night, everything in this museum came to life.
So what we assume is that it contains some magic spell, as since they've brought it to the museum, all the exhibits started to move and become alive at night, to come to life.
There's the source of all this commotion.
The word commotion usually refers to a chaotic situation with lots of noise and activity.
Trusty! Trusty! Guess what?
Huh? What's all the commotion?
Oh, that rat came back. You know,
The rat?
So everything in the museum comes to life every night?
Exactly.
And I'm supposed to do what?
You're You're the night watchman, Lawrence. A venerable position in this institution.
Earlier, Larry introduced himself as a night guard. Watchman is another way to say it. It's a person who guards or looks after a building, especially at night. Venerable means respected because of age, importance, or history.
Is it bad time? No, come on. Come on. Not me, right?
Yeah, and you. Fellas, I'm sure you're familiar with the Venerable D.A. Radford. He wanted to come down and pay us a visit.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, sir.
This is impossible.
Nothing's impossible. If it can be dreamed, it can be done. Hence the 20-foot jackal staring at you right now. Don't make eye contact.
Hence is a nice formal word that you could use when you're writing like a formal email or an essay, for example. In everyday language, though, you should probably say something like, as a result, or because of that. But let me give you one example. European music happens to use a scale of 8 notes, hence the use of the term octave.
Hence the 20-foot jackal staring at you right now.
A jackal is this wild animal that looks like a small wolf. That's more common in Africa. And these patches of jackals are 20 feet tall. That's really tall. That's around 6 meters.
Your job is to make sure that everyone stays inside the museum, because if the sun rises and anyone's on the outside, we turn to dust.
This is dust. So Roosevelt is saying that if the exhibits leave the museum and they're not back to their original places by sunrise, they'll turn to dust. They will break apart into tiny pieces like earth or sand. Check out this example.
In the $100 count room alone, an average of $30 million is designated as unfit every day. Between 4 and 5 p.m., all the cash is shot out to the shredder. It's all destroyed. $30 million turned to dust in seconds.
Now it's almost dawn. I shall help you restore order tonight, but mark my words, it's the last time I shall ever do so.
Dawn is the time of the day when the sun is just about to rise.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I guess.
Stop babbling, boy!
Judging by how Larry starts mumbling, that is, speaking not clearly, you can guess that babbling is exactly that. Talking rapidly and continuously in maybe a foolish, nervous, or excited way, without making so much sense. Alright guys, now it's time to watch the scene a final time, this time without subtitles. It's gonna be great to see how much you can understand, and I'll pause here and there to ask you a few quiz questions. Let's do it.
Climb aboard, boy. Take the hand, son. One more.
That's right, you better run, boy! That mustachioed horseman ain't always gonna be there to protect you, you hear me?
Thank you.
Not at all. Theodore Roosevelt, 26th President of these United States of America, at your service.
Okay, I'm Larry Daly, the new night guard.
Ha ha! Pleasure to meet you, Lawrence Daly. You'll have to excuse me, though. The hunt is afoot.
What is not one of the meanings of the word afoot? Moving quickly on foot? Happening or in progress? Far away or out of reach?
Hunt's foot. Okay, excuse me, Mr. President. Can I ask you something?
Yes, but just one question.
All right. Okay, why? Is it like just some, like, 3 wishes kind of deal? Or?
Jumbo!
Jumbo signed up.
Not at all. Self-reliance is the key to a life.
Do you remember the word that Roosevelt used here, meaning strong, energetic, and full of life? The answer is vigorous.
Self-reliance is the key to a vigorous life. A man must look inward to find his own answers. How can I be of help?
All right, well, I don't really know how to put this, and please don't take it the wrong way, but isn't everything in this museum supposed to be, you know,
dead?
Yeah.
Follow me. You're only one, Pharaoh. You've been in there 54 years. You're not getting out tonight. There's the source of all this commotion.
Which scenario is an example of a commotion? A family watching TV together. A person meditating alone on a beach. A crowd at a concert screaming and pushing towards the stage.
The tablet of Akhmen-Ra. Arrived here in 1952 from the Nile expedition.
On that night, everything in this museum came to life. And every night since.
So everything in the museum comes to life every night?
Exactly.
And I'm supposed to do what?
You're the night watchman, Lawrence. A venerable position in this institution.
Ah!
Come on, lad.
All right, okay, this is impossible.
Nothing's impossible. If it can be dreamed, it can be done. Hence the 20-foot jackal staring at you right now. Don't make eye contact.
In the sentence, hence the 20-foot jackal staring at you right now, what does the word hence mean? As a result, from the above, being upset.
Your job is to make sure that everyone stays inside the museum, because if the sun rises and anyone's on the outside, we turn to dust.
You turn to dust.
Dust.
Really?
Really. Now it's almost dawn. I shall help you restore order tonight, but mark my words, it's the last time I shall ever do so. Is that clear?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I guess.
Stop, boy!
What word describes someone speaking quickly without making so much sense? Rambling, babbling, bubbling.
Stop babbling, boy! Yes or no?
Yes.
Good! Let's ride.
Ah, yeah. Amazing job. Now remember to go and practice everything you learned today on the RealLife app. You'll find a special link in the description below that will take you straight to this lesson over there.
Do you guys always get along? Because you do seem to really like each other. I don't know, maybe I don't know you that well, but it does seem like you really like each other and you work together, which is, I think, it's hard to keep people together. You work together so much. Are there things about each other that drive you crazy?
What do you think?
I would imagine there must be, yeah.
There's a good chunk, but